everyone, I am Vibha Chauhan and welcome to JVP Classes Funda Clear. So today I will explain chapter 5 from Indian Polity book written by M Laxmikanth, and the chapter is Union and its Territories. So basically this chapter covers from the article 1 to article 4 and we will discuss about those articles. In this chapter we will discuss about the states and union territories of India. So as you know, in India there are 28 states and 9 union territories. So in this chapter we will discuss about those states and union territories, about their formation, how were they formed and which factors they were formed, and which committees were responsible for those. We will discuss in this chapter about all these things. So our first topic is Union of States. Union of States. So Article 1 of our Indian Constitution says that the India, that is Bharat, is union of states rather than federation of states. That implies two things. First, the name of our country, and second, the type of polity of our country, that is India. So first, name of our country. So when there was Constituent Assembly, some members suggested that in Constitution there should be written the name of country India, but some other members suggested that it should be Bharat. So the Constitution of India had to adopt both the India and Bharat for the name of our country. So that is what meant by this statement, that is India, that is Bharat. And second, the type of polity of our country, that is union of states rather than federation of states. Union of States, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that India is federal structure but it's unitary as well, union as well. So that is what is meant by Union of States. This implies two things. First, the Indian Federation is on the basis of no agreement with the states, and second is that no states has right to secede from this federation. So that is what by this statement, Article 1. India, that is Bharat, is union of states rather than federation of states, unlike USA where there is federation of states, you know. So this is what is meant by Article 1. And notably, territory of India is wider, you can say wider expression than the states of India, because the later states of India only describes, Union of India only describes the states of India, while the former, that is territory of India, describes the all territories that are states, territories, union territories, and the territories that may be acquired by the government of India, central government of India, any time. And the Article 1, which says that India, that is Bharat, is union of states, implies three categories of states, you can say territories in India. First, that are states of India. Second, union territories of India, and third, that are territories that may be acquired by the government of India by any time. And India has all right, you can say India has right to take any territory, foreign territory, that is on the basis of subrogation, occupation, you can say treaty, gifts, it can be on anything. So that is Article 1 of our Constitution. And Article 2 of our Constitution, of our Indian Constitution, says that the Parliament may by law can admit or establish new state in India. So that is Parliament has power to admit any new state or establish any new state if it thinks it fits for India. So it gives the power. Article 2 gives the power to the Parliament, and Article 3 of our Indian Constitution on the other hand gives the power to the Parliament for the readjustment of the states, you can say, to make any states. So in the other words, you can say that Parliament has power to admit new states, establish new states, create new states, you can say make new states, either by acquiring foreign territories as well. So our next topic is Parliament's power to reorganize the states. Parliament's power to reorganize the states. So Article 3 authorities the Parliament of India these 5 things, that are First, that it can form any state by separating two states or part of state from a territory, or by uniting two territories or a part of state to that of state. You can say it can make new state in India by these factors. And second is that it can diminish the area of any state. Next is that it can increase the area of any state that exists in India. Fourth is that it can alter the boundaries of any states between two states or more states. And fifth and last we can say is that it can alter the names of the states. So these are the powers that are given by Article 3 to the Parliament, you can say. And before this, for doing so, Parliament has to, you can say, take the presidential recommendation, and before presidential recommendation, it has to give, you can say, it has to give to the states concerned. It has to give a notice, you can this to the state concerned for those. And there is a time bound. If you have informed the states, the Parliament has informed the states about that they are diminishing or altering any boundaries of any state, then they have to inform those states, but there is time limit. In that time limit, they have to give their views, and those views are not that very important. If even in the time they have given their views, then there is no importance. This is just for seeing. It is not that if they are not okay with that, you can say okay with that statement, with that decision of the Parliament, then it is nothing. Parliament can redraw the map of India, the political map of our India, you can say. So if even the states give their views, you can say give their decisions in time bound, then there is nothing to be concerned, you can say. You have to remember that the Parliament has power to redraw the political map of our India rather than USA. Unlike in USA where the Parliament has no right, there is federal structure, you know, and that is why the Indian, you can say, Indian Parliament, Indian Federation structure is known as the Indian Constitution is known as the indestructible union with destructible states, and in US it is an indestructible union and indestructible states where Parliament has no right to, you can say, change, to redraw the map of that country. But in India, Parliament has right through the through the Articles 2 and 3. And Article 4 of our Constitution says that these amendments, these changes in the political, you can say, territories of India, states of India are not under the Amendment Act, under the Article 368. These are not amendments. So in the other words, you can say that Article 4 protects Article 2 and Article 3. But by separating two states, it can create. Does this also mean that it can cede away territory to the foreign country? This question raised in the Berry Union case. So Berry Union case, that was in 1960. So Berry Union, that was a part of West Bengal, was being given to the East Pakistan, that is now present day Bangladesh. Earlier it was East Pakistan, you know. So the Berry Union was being given to the East Pakistan. That led to the political agitation, because the Article 3 says that it can separate two states to make a new state, but that doesn't mean secession of any state. And that question raised in the Berry Union, so that took for President to Supreme Court. This question went to the Supreme Court and then took the presidential reference, and the Supreme Court said that the Parliament has power to separate any state, but has no power to cede away territory to a foreign country. And for doing so, they have to make an amendment under the Article 368, you know. So for that, 9th Constitutional Amendment Act was introduced in 1960 to give the said territory, that is Berry Union, to the East Pakistan. So you know that Parliament has power to make, you can draw the political map of India, but it cannot cede away territory to a foreign country, you can say. And further, many years after, Supreme Court also said that the Indian Parliament has right to separate any state, and if there are any disputes between two countries, it can be settled by them without any amendments, because the dispute settlement doesn't mean any session, so it does not need any amendments. So you have known that Parliament's power to reorganize the state, they have fully, but they cannot cede away territory, you can say. So next topic is exchange of the territories with Bangladesh. Exchange of the territories with Bangladesh. So you know that Belubari Union case was raised, and after that there were many cases, you can say there were many, you can say, hassles in the Indian politics, you can say Indian politics during that time, during the time of 1960, you can say. So there were many disputes between India and, you can say, East Pakistan, leading to the exchange of territories, you can say. So for that there was an agreement, that was Nehru-Noon Agreement in 1958, but that did not ratify the people. So for that there was, you can say, land boundary agreements, there were, you can say, exchange of territories with Bangladesh. So that was it. During that time there were many, you can say, there were many disputes arising between two countries, India and the present day Bangladesh, you can say. And for that the 100 Constitution Amendment Act of 2015 was introduced, in which 111 enclaves of India were transferred to Bangladesh and 51 enclaves of Bangladesh were transferred to India, you can say. So you can say that this is exchange of territories, and they are done by the, you can say, Constitution Amendment Act. It is not that this is passed by a simple bill, because Parliament has right, you know, that it can redraw the map of India by, you can say, simple bill, by passing a simple bill with a majority. But this cession of any territory to foreign, you can say, foreign country needs an amendment act, you can say constitution amendment. So for this the 100 Constitution Amendment Act was introduced. So next topic is evolution of states and union territories. Evolution of states and union territories. So you know that during the colonial period there were, you can say, two types of territories in India. Those were provinces and princely states. So provinces that were under the direct control of governors of Britishers, you can say. And next were princely states that were under the direct control of princes, native princes, but had led to the paramountcy to the Britishers. And after the Indian Independence Act of 1947, Britishers had given three choices to the princely states, that were first to join the Dominion of India, second was that to join the Dominion of Pakistan, and third was that remain independent. So out of 552, you can say, princely states, 549 had joined, and for integrating those prince states we are thankful to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. You know that for integration of India the main role was led by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and three remaining princely states, that were Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir, they were also taken later. Hyderabad was taken by the police force, you can say, Junagadh was taken by the referendum, and Kashmir was taken by the instrument of accession. So these were also taken. So and there were evolution, you can say. For that, to divide the Indian states, you can say there were four types, that were Part A, Part B, Part C and Part D, to administer those states, you can say, princely states. So Part A of India, you can say, Part A consisted of 9 provinces that were under the control of governors earlier during the colonial period, and Part B consisted of 9 9 you can say princely states, governor, you can say princely states and provinces. Part C consisted of 10 you can say princely states, and part D was mainly for the Andaman and Nicobar Island. You can say part D was solitary for that island, Andaman and Nicobar Island. So you can say that princely states had options, but they had joined India and India was integrated, and for administering those states, you can say the government of India had divided states into 4 categories, 4 parts. You can say part A, part B, part C and part D. So our first subtopic, that is integration of princely states, has completed. Now second subtopic is Dhar Commission and JVP Committee. Dhar Commission and JVP Committee. So during that time, during you can see 1960s, around 1950, there were questions, there were demands by people to separate, you can say to make states on linguistic factors that are based on languages, and for doing so, for that serving, you can say there was made a commission that was chaired by S.K. Dhar, and that is why it was named as Dhar Commission. So in 1948, the Dhar Commission was, you can say, appointed, and it recommended that there should be a linguistic, you can say, states being separated on linguistic factors. And after that, JVP Committee was appointed. JVP Committee that consisted of 3 members, Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So you can say that JVP, J for Jawaharlal Nehru, V for Vallabhbhai Patel and P Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So this committee was also appointed after the report of the Dhar Commission, and this committee strictly said that there should not be any separation of states on linguistic factors, because during that time there were already many conflicts between India and Pakistan. You know that it was they were separated on the basis of religions. So that during that time the Prime Minister of India, that was Jawaharlal Nehru, thought that there should not be any more separations, because they were already separated in 2 religions based country. So he didn't want that. And after that, you can say that they completely denied to, you can say, separate states of India. But however, in 1953 they had to separate Andhra state by separating the Telugu speaking areas from Madras states, because Potti Sri Ramalu had died after the hunger strike of 56 days, and after that hunger strike he died, and after that the government of India had created a new state on linguistic factors, Andhra state, and it was made by the Recognition Act, you can say Recognition Act of 1953 for Andhra state, and it was made Andhra state. It was not Andhra Pradesh, it was Andhra state. So our next topic is Fazl Ali Commission. Fazl Ali Commission. So you know that Andhra state was created, and that intensified the people of other states as well. They saw that there was already one state being separated, being created on linguistic factors. Then they also wanted to make their own states of their linguistic factors of their own languages, and for that a new commission was appointed, you can say, that was chaired by Fazl Ali, and that was called as Fazl Ali Commission, and that commission was appointed and it gave report. It said that there should be separation of states on linguistic factors, but Fazl Ali completely rejected the idea of one language, one state. He said that there should be some separation, but on the factors of administration as well. It should be purely, you can say, beneficial for government as well as the people. So he said that there should be separation, but not as one language, one state, and government listened to it. And after that, the Recognition Act of 1953 1956 was introduced, and it created 14 states and 6 union territories. That are, states were already there, they created 14 states, and the new idea was introduced of union territories, that the territories that were controlled directly by the central government, and there were done distinction between part A and part C, and there were done distinction between part A and part B, and part C was completely abolished. So you can say that by Recognition Act of 1956 there was a major change in the political map of India, you can see. So it created 14 states and 6 union territories by separating many territories, by uniting many territories, you can say many states, you can say. For example, it created Kerala by uniting the triumphal Cochin state with the Malabar district of Madras state, and furthermore it united the Coorg district into that of Maharashtra state, that is now Maharashtra, it was earlier Bombay. So it united the Coorg district into that of Bombay state, and furthermore it created more and more states. So the next and last subtopic of this chapter is new states and UT created after 1956. So there were many political agitations after the Reorganization Act of 1956. The political, you can say, and the political map of India had gone under many changes, many different changes. There were created more and more states, you can say, there were created more territories we will discuss, union territories that we will discuss. So our first is Maharashtra and Gujarat. Maharashtra and Gujarat. So in 1960, the state of Maharashtra was bifurcated into 2 states, that were Maharashtra and Gujarat, and Gujarat subsequently became this 15th state of India, Indian Union, you can say. So Maharashtra and Gujarat were bifurcated, you can say. Maharashtra, that was for Marathi speaking, you can say Marathi speaking people, and Gujarat for Gujarati speaking people. And the next is Daadra and Nagar Haveli. Daadra and Nagar Haveli. So Daadra and Nagar Haveli, that was ruled by Portuguese. Earlier it was ruled by Portuguese till 1954, and after that the people choose an administrator, and that administrator ruled that area, this territory, you can say. And after that, by the 10th Constitution Amendment Act of India, you can say, of 1961, this territory was acquired by India and was given the union, the post of Union Territory of India. So you can say that in 1961, Daadra and Nagar Haveli became a Union Territory of India. So next is Goa and Daman and Diu. Goa, Daman and Diu. So these 3 territories were also ruled by Portuguese before, earlier you can say, but after it was conquered, you can say it was acquired by the government of India by the means of police action, and Goa was in 1987, Goa was conferred a statehood, while subsequently Daman and Diu became an union territory of India. So next is Puducherry. Puducherry, that was ruled, you can say, this territory reformed the 4 territories, that were Yanam, Mahe, Karaikal and Puducherry, and you can say these are the French, you can see, and this, you can say, Puducherry was acquired by India and was given as the union territory, the post of a union territory of Indian Union, you can say. In 1973 it was given. So next is Nagaland. Nagaland was created by the government of India by taking the areas of Naga Hills and the Twinsang part of Assam, you can say, and these were done, the separation of Nagaland state was done to satisfy the Nagas, hostile Nagas, because during that time the hostile Nagas were intensified, you can say. So for this, the government of India created Nagaland state and it gave it the 16th state of India. It gave the 16th state, and before giving it the 16th state of India, it was, you can say, under the rule of Assam, you can say. So next is Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh. Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh. So in 1966, the state of Punjab, you can say the territory of Punjab was bifurcated in the state Haryana, and Haryana was given the post of 17th state of India, and that intensified, you can say, Akali Dal. That was on the recommendation of Master Tara Singh, who was, you can say, chief of that, you can say, Akali Dal. They were also wanting, they also wanted a state that were for Sikhs. So for this state Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh were created. Punjab, that were for the Punjabi people, the Punjabi areas, the 6 areas were given to the Punjab state, and the Hindi speaking people were given to the Haryana state, and the, you can say, the areas under the hills area were transferred to the Himachal Pradesh, and thus you can say Haryana became the 17th state and Himachal Pradesh became the 18th state of Union Indian Union, you can say. So next is Manipur, Tripura and Meghalaya. So during the time of 1976, you can say around 1972, the political map of northeastern India undergone a very, you can say, most, you can say, changes. During that time, around 1972, it had gone under numerous changes on the ways of, you can say, political, because during that time there were, you can say, many separations, many unitations, you can say, and for this, you can see these traditions, Manipur, Tripura and Meghalaya. Manipur, Tripura, that were union territories, and Meghalaya, that was a sub-state, were given to the states. They were created as the states of Indian Union. So you can say that Manipur, that was 19th state, Tripura, that was 20th state, and Meghalaya, that was 21st state of our Indian Union. And after that, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram were also into being. It also came into being, and these union territories, that were Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, were also called as the Northeast Frontier Agency, you can say NEFA and EFA, and they were introduced as the union territories of India. They were not made as states, they were union territories. So you can say that till now, till this, you can say there were 21 states in Indian Union. So next is Sikkim. So Sikkim was under the rule of Chogyal, you can say, and people wanted, you can say, Sikkim was as like a protectorate of India. India had taken the responsibility of its external affairs, of its, you can say, of its military, you can say, of its protection. But after that, the people didn't want Chogyal. So for this, accordingly, 35th Constitutional Amendment Act was introduced in 1974, and the Sikkim was introduced as the associated state of India. But that did not satisfy the people of Sikkim, and they wanted completely the destruction of Chogyal. They wanted to associate it, they wanted to become an integral part of India. So for that, the Constitutional Amendment Act, the 36th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1975 was introduced, and it cancelled the 35th Constitutional Amendment Act, and the article that was introduced by it, that was Article 2A, it was also repealed by this Constitutional Amendment Act. And after that, Sikkim became, you can say, 22nd state of our Indian Union in 1975. We have to remember it. So next is Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa. Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa. So you know that Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, they were the union territories, but after that they were made in 2000, in around 2000, they were made the states of India. And Goa was also made. It had been conferred statehood, and after that in 2000 it was completely become the state of India, integral part of India. So by doing so, you can say our this number of states in Indian Union became to 25th, 23rd you can say Mizoram, 24th Arunachal Pradesh, and Goa 25th. So next is Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. So around 2000, you can say in 2000, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand were created by the separating from the states Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. You can see Chhattisgarh was created by separating from Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand was created by separating from Bihar, and Uttarakhand was created after being separated from Uttar Pradesh. And subsequently the number of states in Indian Union became to 28, you can say 28, that is Chhattisgarh 26th, Uttarakhand 27th, and you can say Jharkhand 28. And next is Telangana. Telangana, that was also in 2014, it was made a state by separating from Andhra Pradesh. It was earlier, it was a part of Andhra Pradesh, but it was separated from Andhra Pradesh in 2014 and had become separate, you can say, state of India. And you have to remember this, by the Reorganization Act of 1953, the Andhra state was created. Andhra state by separating the Madras, you can say Telugu speaking areas people from the Madras state. And during that time, the capital was Guntur, you have to remember. And after the Reorganization Act of 1956, the Andhra state has become Andhra Pradesh state because the areas, Telugu speaking areas of Hyderabad were also, you can say, united, were joined into that state, and that had become Andhra Pradesh. And that time its capital was Hyderabad. And again by the Reorganization Act of 2014, it had again been bifurcated, and this time Telangana was separated. So you have to remember about Andhra Pradesh because it's very important. Andhra Pradesh was the first state in India being separated, you can say being created on linguistic factor. So next is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, till 2019, Jammu and Kashmir had been enjoying its, you can say, own is a freedom. It had its own constitution. The Indian constitution had not any effect on it. So for this, the Constitution Act 2019 was introduced, and it cancelled the Constitution Act that was 1954. The Constitution Act of 1954 was cancelled by the Constitution Act of 2019, and after that Jammu and Kashmir had become a union territory, and from a territory, you can say district Ladakh in it was also became a union territory. So in other words, you can say that Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir and in the union territory of Ladakh. And Jammu and Kashmir consists of all districts in it except Leh, Kargil, that are under Ladakh, union territory of Ladakh. So you can say till 2019 the number of states had become to 28. It had become to 29 after the, you can say, separation of Telangana, but the Jammu and Kashmir became an union territory, so it became to 28, and in the union territories of India they have become 9. So you can say that 9 union territories and 28 states. So next is change of names. Change of names. So by till now, from 1956 to present 2021, you can say there have been changes in the names of states and union territories, you have to remember. And first state to to be changed name, it was United Provinces, and it was renamed as Uttar Pradesh. And after that there were many changes in names, you can say. For example, Mysore was named as Karnataka, Madras was renamed as Tamil Nadu, you have to remember. And most important, Odisha was renamed as Odisha. So you can, and it is the latest. In 2011, Odisha was renamed as Odisha. It may be pronounced similar, but the spelling is different, you have to remember. For example, it was called as Odisha before, that was Orissa, and after that it had become Odisha, that was Odisha. So in spelling there should not be any mistakes. So this is all about the chapter. We have discussed about union and its territory, and in this chapter we have discussed about the article 1 to article 4. We have seen that Parliament has power to redraw the map of India but cannot cede any territory to foreign country. Only this can be done only by an amendment, constitutional amendment. And you have to remember all these articles because these are important, very important. So this is all about the chapter. I have discussed all topics and subtopics, and I'll be covering next chapters in further videos. So thank you very much.